Good news, everyone! Because of a combination of a bit of bad luck with us getting hacked on our YouTube channel and essentially most of the evidence for any of the content and the views that we had in the past being erased, with our channel only showing right now it shows 30 some views or something like that. Obviously we're close to 100 just because of the reposting of the Soul combo deck that I did earlier on. And the fact that they apparently introduced some new policy back in April of 2017, so of the current year, when this video was, this might be in the past, who knows when you're watching this if we don't get hacked again and all of our videos get completely deleted again. So as of right now, our videos, or sorry, not our videos, our channel can no longer actually apply for monetization. So great news for all of you fine folk out there who had the decency to watch our videos without having the ad blockers and stuff like that and giving the tiny little trickle sand in the hourglass of revenue towards our channel, which up to this point we haven't even made enough to be able to get any from YouTube itself. As Nova and I have made jokes in the past, we've made a whopping 3 cents that I think he got as a check in the mail from Nintendo for having that whole Nintendo partnership thing with some videos we did in the past. I think it was with Bayonetta or something. And I think in total since July of 2016 when we first started this channel, we've made maybe $60 off of ads. So anyway, guys, up until either our videos get put back on and they actually count the almost 44,000 views and stuff like that we've had in the last yearish and a bit, or we build up to 10,000 views again on all of our stuff, just starting from scratch, you guys will be getting all of our content completely ad-free. Yeah, we were thinking about maybe setting up a Patreon in the near future, but we really just want to get the channel running again. And I still stick by the original idea of doing the channel until we get 1,000 or more subscribers, and then going on to Patreon and all that stuff, just because too many people take this whole YouTube, internet, video thing too seriously for money. It would be nice to get some form of compensation for the work that we do, but in essence and on the ground level of what we're doing it for entertainment, education, whatever. And just because I really like Force of Will. So guys, I actually had another one of our viewers, I think it was a comment that was left on the video that I reposted for Soul, request that I do a reposting of the video that I did for my Reiya deck. But I said, you know what, my friend, I will do you one better, and I will actually do a completely new video for Reiya, in that I actually updated the deck. Before the video was hacked and deleted, I actually had made a pinned comment at the beginning, or at the top of the comment section, saying, hey, I made these alterations to the deck, I took out a few things, added a few things, but because it's gone, you know what, I just said, hey, why not Master Feature, let's just make an entirely new video. So I apologize if I go through some of the cards a little bit quicker. The deck list, as usual, will be in the description, so let's get started. The ruler for this deck, as you probably guessed from the title and my reuse of the old thumbnail, is Reiya, fourth daughter of Mikage, ruler vampire, judgment for 3, 2 darkness and 1 colorless, with energize for darkness, and it has the ability to tap and put a mystery counter on this card, and then some amazing wingdings gobbledygook at the bottom, which, you know, just for the point of being concise, there are 2 different abilities, both on her ruler and J ruler side. So once you judgment her, she becomes, oh my goodness, Reiya, fourth daughter of Mikage, a 12/12 vampiric J ruler with flying. And it also gets the ability when this card enters the field to put 3 mystery counters onto it and tap, remove a mystery counter from this card to destroy target resonator. So the cool thing about that is that you can flip her over. She can go from whatever mystery counters you had before +3, and then as soon as you pass turn to your opponent, you can tap her to remove one mystery counter and destroy your opponent's resonator. Ideally, I like to flip her around turn 4 or later, just because of the way that the deck works. But you know what, we'll talk about that in a sec. Let's get down to the additions and chants. The deck is a decently controlly deck, as you guys probably saw in the previous video, if you saw it before it got taken down. So I run 3 of the 1-drop darkness chant, Scorn of Dark Alice, which is look at your opponent's hand and choose a Resonator. They discard that card. Run 3 of these. This is a really, really good turn 1 play, or just any time that you want to make sure that they're not going to quick cast a pesky Resonator or drop something when they have 4 more stones that you know is going to be ridiculously annoying. Now, this is my favorite turn 1 play, and as you can see in this beautiful full art that I managed to pull from my booster box openings, this is Dark Night Butterfly. It is a mystery chant, so themed with Reiya's deck and her mystery counters for 1 darkness, and it has the following ability. Your opponent discards a card. If this card was awakened, your opponent discards 2 cards instead. So awakening is remove 2 mystery counters from your J ruler. The only way you can really trigger this to happen first turn is if you actually have the luck to draw one of the stones from the dark castle, which is Reiya's theme stone, which gives you a mystery counter onto her. So you tap, get that 1 particular stone. You have 2 mystery counters onto here. If you're going second, it's even better because then you can use the stone you just pulled to play this card, remove 2 mystery counters to awaken, and because your opponent going first didn't allow them to draw a card, you essentially just put them back essentially 3 cards because they didn't draw off the first turn and you made them discard 2 cards. So it's a really good turn 1 play. I run 3 of the Dark Night Butterfly Chants. I also run, as per the theme of most of the decks that I've been making in the last little while since the release of Ancient Knights, I run 2 of the Idol of Willpower. I love the idols. I'm probably going to be running them in as many decks as possible for the next little while just because of their usefulness for turn 1. A lot of the decks I've made in the past have suffered from the inability to play something turn 1, so I use this to pad my turn 1 plays. So it is a 1-drop colorless addition with pay 1 colorless or 1 of any color into it, banish this card, gain 500 life, and draw a card. So it helps with the draw mechanic, which this deck doesn't really suffer particularly from because of the next following card, and it gives you the 500 life that we sorely need to be kept in the game for early game with this deck. I run 4, count them, 4, Bloodspray, which is a 2 darkness mystery chant, with the following ability. Draw 2 cards. This card deals 300 damage to you, which is why we need the Idol of Willpower to keep us in the game, because there are a lot of things that... Well, not a lot of things. There are a few things that hurt us, and on top of that, there are not too many low-cost Resonators in this deck, so we need to be kept in the game early game if they're running a bunch of Resonator, Rush, / Haste, and all that stuff. Anyway, so its Awakening is remove a mystery counter from your J ruler, destroy target Resonator with total cost 2 or less. So this card, if you didn't play your, your Dark Moon Butterfly, this is an ideal turn 2 play if you have that 1 mystery counter open, because you're almost guaranteed turn 2, if they don't have the Energize, that they would still have decently low cost Resonators on the field. So you're guaranteed a kill with that mystery counter Awakening, and you get to draw 2 cards, which keeps you ahead of the game. Then I run 2 of still one of my favorite darkness chants, which is Fate Reunion for 1 darkness and 1 colorless, and it has the following abilities. Choose 1. If you control 2 or more darkness J/Resonators, you may choose both. Search your deck for a card, then shuffle the rest of your deck and put that card on top of it, or draw a card. So essentially, if you've got 2 darkness J/Resonators on the field, you grab that card from deck and put it directly into your hand, because it's just like put on top of your deck and then draw. So. Or you can use this as a 2-cost draw 1 card if you don't have the requirements for the deck. But really, I only run 2 non-darkness Resonators in this deck, so this shouldn't be too difficult. And don't forget, it is J/Resonator for you guys. So if you're on your 3rd or 4th turn, if you're on your 4th turn or later, because you need to be past your 3rd turn to be able to play this, and you have Reiya on her J ruler side, that does count as one of the 2 requirements for getting both sides of that card. Then I run 2 Alice's World of Madness, which is a 2-drop addition, which has light and darkness for the cost, and it gives a blanket effect of Resonators gain -2/-2. I run 2 of these things. I was running 3 at one point. I don't think I was running 3 in the previous version of this deck build, but one of the viewers on the previous video made a very interesting ruling. So this card originally I used in tandem with this next card, which I run 3 of, which is 3 of Reduction, which is one of the Pandora-themed cards from Ancient Knights. It is a 2-drop chant with quick cast for 1 light and 1 colorless. Target Resonator becomes a 0/1 until the end of turn. So originally, what I wasn't aware of was the effect of the word becomes in the resolution of Reduction. And the reason why I was even made aware of this because of the viewer was the fact that there was the pre-existing ruling for Charlotte's Water Transformation Magic, which also used the word becomes, so it becomes a 4/4 bear and loses all abilities or something like that. So what happens with becomes is that the ruling on any card that uses that phrasing is that it loses all previous status improvements or deductions, so minus or plus, and becomes that particular stat, which in this case would be a 0/1 Resonator, until the end of turn. So essentially what that means is that you have to be careful on the order in which you play these cards if you want this effect to work and kill that particular Resonator. Like for instance, you'd have to play the quick cast Reduction first to make them a 0/1, and then you play Alice's World of Madness to give it an additional -2/-2 on top. When I first made this deck, I thought that but I wasn't aware of the becomes terminology, and I thought that it just became a 0/1, and then this thing was a blanket statement that affected all Resonators at all times. But apparently that isn't the fact. The one thing that I actually found out about this particular combo, if you do it in the proper order, that I think is really cool, either to my benefit or my detriment, because I actually haven't seen too many other people run Azathoth, the Hunter of Reality, is that apparently if you turn him into the 0/1 first and then apply the Alice's World of Madness to the field, it'll kill him the first one, remove a mystery counter, kill him the second time, remove a mystery counter, and so on and so forth until he removes all 6 mystery counters and would die, because he remains a 0/1 until the end of turn, and then this thing is applied to him continuously. So every time that he would die, you remove a mystery counter until he's essentially not invincible anymore, and he's dead and your opponent loses 2,000 life. So that's a cool combination if you have a friend that does run Azathoth commonly, though I highly doubt it. Then going off of another card that works really well with Reduction, if you do it in the proper order, that being said, Reduction being played first, is the 2 Dragon Princesses. It is a 2-drop quick cast chant for Darkness and Light, and it has the following abilities. It has choose one if you control a Light J/Resonator and another Darkness J/Resonator. You may choose both. Put 5 +1/+1 counters onto target Resonator, which I will show you guys what that is particularly geared for in this deck later. Or target J/Resonator gains -5/-5 until the end of turn. So this could be used as a kill after the use of Reduction, or it could hypothetically just be used on a Resonator that doesn't have anything affected by becomes that is already getting -2/-2 to the field because of Alice's World of Madness. So this card works phenomenally in this deck, and I love the fact that it's quick cast. And as long as you can keep a decent board presence, it shouldn't be that difficult to get both of the effects off the card at one time. Now, I also run Neo Barrier. I don't know what's up with my pronunciation the last little while, guys. I apologize. I run 2 Neo Barrier of Shadows, which is a 2-drop addition for 1 Darkness and 1 Colorless that has the following ability. Your opponent pays 1 colorless more to play activated abilities of Resonators they control. I remember Dayman saying something about this being erotic to say that that doesn't include mana production, because apparently that would just be a little too cheap against green mana ramping decks, will ramping decks. So apparently tapping your elf mana dork doesn't cost you 1 to produce 1. I guess that'd be a little bit silly, but everything else that is an activated ability still gets that effect. And then Seal 8, so this card gains the following text: as long as you control 8 or more magic stones, your opponent can't play activated abilities. So that means like he can't play any form of activated abilities, including ones on his J rulers. Yeah, J/rulers. So going up to the 3-cost bracket, I run the 3-cost edition Castle of Oni, which is for 2 Darkness and 1 Colorless. And it gives the blanket effect: Darkness J/Resonators you control gain +2/+2 And then it has the ability to tap and banish this card, put target card from your graveyard into your hand. So ideally, if there is a card that you need to grab from grave to essentially win, what you want to do is attack with all of your darkness J/Resonators that are getting buffs from this thing, then tap it to sack it. They'll lose their buffs. There might be some that die if you have the Alice's World of Madness on the field, and then you grab that card from grave and then you cast it. Again, this deck is super, super stringent on the order that you play things if you want to maximize its benefits. I run 4 of the Ancient Magic Chant Erasure, which again does not have quick cast, so keep that in mind if you need to play this to get rid of an opponent's ruler, J ruler, or its additions or something like that. So it's a 4-drop for 1 darkness and 1 light and 2 colorless. Destroy target non-magic stone card. So literally anything other than your opponent's ruler or their magic stones. It's essentially the new Black Moonbeam, but it can be countered and it doesn't have quick cast. So it's significantly worse, but it's the only thing we have to fill the slot that isn't just doing basic damage. Then I run my 5-drop Chant, which is a quick cast with Mystery, and it is Vitality Drain. And this is quite literally Teacher's favorite favorite new full art card in this particular set is the one that's like 5-drop blue Chant that returns all non-blue Resonators back to hand. I can't remember what it's called, thing like Oceanic Surge or something, but I have to argue that this is the most beautiful Chant or card of any type from the new set in full art. So it is a 5-drop for 2 darkness and 3 colorless that has the following ability: target player loses 1,000 life, you gain 1,000 life, and if you awaken it by removing only a single mystery counter, like that's amazing. Even Black Moon Butterfly or whatever that is, that thing like costs 2. Anyway, so this, you can remove 1 mystery counter from your J/ruler. This card deals 1,000 damage to target Resonator. So if you have the open mystery counter, which is ideally what you want for when you're casting this card, deal 1,000, gain 1,000, deal 1,000 to a Resonator. It's great. I only run 1. That might honestly be because I only drew 1, or maybe I drew more than 1 and I lost the other one. I can't really seem to find it. My card collection's a bit of a mess right now. But running just the 1 and then having the searches from Faded Reunion is actually pretty good in this deck, because there is one other card, which I'm going to show you guys in a second here, that does what that does, but gives you a little bit more versatility. And that card is Schrodinger's Observation. It is a 2-drop and X for 1 darkness, 1 colorless, and X Chant. It doesn't have quick cast, unfortunately. I run 3 of them, and it has the following phenomenal ability. And if you guys have seen my Freyla deck, I don't know if I've posted it either before or after this like quasi-update reposting video of my Reiya deck, I actually like this card significantly better than the new Demon Burn spell, which is 1 red and X. And it does a similar thing, but you only get 200 for every amount put into X. So, okay, it has the following ability. Choose 1. This card deals 400 damage multiplied by X to target Resonator. You gain that much life. Or this card deals 300 damage multiplied by X to target player, and you gain that much life. So it really just comes down to, do you need the additional life and destroy a Resonator, or do you not need as much life and you want to hit your opponent for game? So 3 of those bad boys. Now on to the Swankin' Dankin' Resonators. I run 3 of the Fallen Saint, and as I mentioned in the first version of this deck that I posted, I don't think I've seen this dude played in any other deck profiles or competition versus videos that I've seen on YouTube thus far. He is a 6/6 2-drop human Resonator for darkness and light that has the following ability. Whenever this card blocks or is blocked by a J/Resonator, that J/Resonator gains -2/-2 until the end of turn. It's really cool that they gave him J/Resonator so he can block the bigger guys. He can be used as a chump blocker, so that he does the 600 damage from just blocking, then an additional -2/-2 on top of that. And then if you put this in tandem with the field effect of Alice's World of Madness, it would gain the -2 from this one, the -2 from Dark Alice. Or if you don't have, not Dark Alice, if you don't have Alice's World of Madness on the field, you can always cast one of the what is it? Dragon Princesses, it's the 1-drop that gives -5/-5. So if you just use that and this, you could hypothetically do 600 base damage from blocking or attacking, then -2/-2 from his effect, and then -5/-5 from the quick cast chant. Not to mention the fact that he is both a light and darkness resonator, which fulfills my requirements for that one particular double ability as well. This is kind of the mainstay of the deck in terms of resonators. It is Dark Alice Manifestation of Rage. I run 3 of these. There are, it is a 2-drop Wanderer Resonator, 5/5 for 2 darkness, and it is Will of Hope. Not that that matters on this particular deck, but it has the following abilities. Whenever this card enters your field, remove all resonators in your opponent's graveyard from the game. For each resonator removed this way, put a +1/+1 counter on this card. When this card leaves your field for a non-field zone, put a 100/100 Darkness Shadow Resonator token into your field for each +1/+1 counter that was on this card. Release the seal abilities of darkness cards and spells you control. So the reason why this card is super important for this deck is because it essentially shuts down the opponent's ability to use activated abilities with Neo Shadow Barrier because of the release of seal on darkness spells. On top of that, using the 2 Dragon Princesses quick cast chant, we can put 5/1/1 counters onto her, which essentially would make her a 10/10 just from hitting the field. If we have Oni's Castle on there, she gets another +2/+2. That doesn't count as counters, but the cool thing about her ability is that she only has to leave the field to drop all of those 1/1 Shadow Resonator tokens onto the field. She doesn't have to hit the grave. So if you're going up against a deck that runs Barrier Seal, for example, you don't particularly care. Another thing that's really cool about this card is that, actually no, not really cool, another important thing about the way that you play this card is that if you're gonna have her leave the field, like if you're expecting her to be killed sometime, like she's bodied into, or a kill spell was to hit her, you got to make sure that you play your Oni's Castle before you play your Alice's World of Madness, because if she hits the field and you've already got your Alice's World of Madness, as soon as she pops, those resonators don't even hit the field. Like, they just die because their stats would immediately be calculated as 1/1s with an additional -2/-2. So they would die, and her ability for spawning you a crazy amount of resonators becomes completely pointless. Now, if you have both Castle of Oni and Alice's World of Madness on the field, because they both have that, like that blanket +2/+2 or -2/-2, they both resolve at the same time and nullify one another. So you'd still get your +1/+1 counters. Now, if you lose your Alice's World, they become 3/3s. If you lose your Oni, like for sacking it to grab something from grave, your 1/1s get -2/-2. So just be careful about your calculation of stats if you're caring about those token resonators staying on the field. The final 2 cards and the final 2 resonators in this deck are a card that you have either seen before in my Gil Alphamat deck or will see soon in my new Gil Alphamat deck, Arla the Lightwing. Now, the funny thing is that these aren't substituted with the one that I have in that particular deck. I actually do have 3 of these things. I pulled 1 in pre-release and 2 in the boxes that I opened. So he is a 4-drop, and this is of course the dating sim promo of him from the Ancient Knights as opposed to the original. I've actually never seen the original that was released in Vingolf 3, but he is a Vingolf 3 card originally. He is a 4-drop for 2 light and 2 colorless 8/8 Angel Resonator with flying, which is actually really not amazing, but it's not bad because he has so many additional abilities. He's got the blanket ability, other J/Resonators you control with flying gain barrier, which is awesome for our ruler in this case, which is Reiya, because she is a flying 12/12. Then he's got the ability tap. This card deals 400 damage to target attacking J/Resonator, which would be good if you pop this guy into like a 3-color white, red, black Mikage deck, for instance, because you'd give his J-Ruler side barrier, and you'd be able to tap him to do the 400 damage to go off of the kill spells, like for instance Demon Flame and Lethal Arrow. And he's got the ability tap with 1 light, destroy target addition or regalia, and that's the main reason I have him in the deck, because other than Erasure, I don't have too many answers to crazy addition field locking. And he's got the final ability, which I won't be using too often, but it's still good to have the option. Tap and 3 light, destroy target J/Resonator with flying, which is freaking crazy. Because like you go up against another Reiya deck, you go up against a Mikage deck, you go up against a Gil Alhamet deck, pretty much any of these crazy guys with flying. Or if you have the smarts to use, for instance, the Dreams of Flight on your opponent's J Ruler, then you give it flight, tap 3 into this bad boy, tap, and kill their J Ruler. So essentially it would still be a 4-drop kill spell, but it's also a Resonator. This was my updated Reiya 4th Daughter of Mikage deck, guys. I hope I didn't go too fast. My videos are usually around 30 minutes plus. This one's just batting around 25 minutes if I can see off my phone right now. Yeah, there wasn't too much of a change. I think I changed maybe 3 cards in the deck, and on top of that, I also made sure that I made the point of playing cards in a specific order for this deck, just to make sure that you get the full benefits of the deck. I hope you guys enjoy. Again, there will not be any ads on the videos for the next little while. If you guys want to drop some comments in the comment section, please do. Criticism would be great. I don't care if it's negative or positive, just anything would be nice. I like to get feedback on the decks. On top of that, I'm expecting to do a couple of videos with Dayman in the next little while, probably somewhere in mid-October, just because we're both busy with work right now. Like, subscribe, do the usual stuff, and of course there will be a deck build in the description. I hope you guys enjoy, and look forward to the next little while, where we're going to try to reconstruct the channel. As is par for the course, I have goofed, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize, I forgot to go over the stone buildup of the deck. It is your basic 10 stone deck. I haven't changed anything from the previous profile video. So I run 4 of the stone from the Dark Castle. It gives you mystery counters. It is Reiya's themed card. I actually run a bunch of these in other decks just because I love being able to use her Bloodspray or the 1-drop kill spell in other decks. I run 2 ancient magic stones, which are Gil's card. They do burn us for 300 when they hit the field, but the cool thing is that it covers our colors for having white and black and everything. And then of course I run 4 magic stone of Heaven's Rift, which don't burn us, they don't do anything crazy. I've got 1 of the ones from Curse and then 3 from Vingolf 2, and they just tap for darkness or light. Cool, that was the real end of the video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace for realsies this time.